Hello, my name is Jean Quintus and I am publishing a new fly every month on my website www.meckejang.lu. You see it there.
The fly of the month of October 2012 is the Peter Ross. To tie this fly we will use a Camazan B402 or Tiemco 100BL in size 8 up to 12, a medium black tying thread. For the tail we will use gold pheasant tippets. The body will be made with silver tinsel and red seal's fur. For the ribbing we will use silver wire. The wing will be made with squirrel tail over crystal flash and teal duck, and the underwing will be black hen feather. Tie in the thread at the eye of the hook and wind it in close turns to the beginning of the curvature of the hook. Cut off the excess of tying thread and tie in the tail, which will consist of a bunch of gold pheasant tippets. The length of the tail should be approximately the length of the hook shank, or a little bit shorter. Secure the tippets back to the eye of the hook. Cut off the excess of the tippets. And tie in the silver ribbing wire, which we will secure back to the beginning of the curvature of the hook. Wind the thread back to the eye of the hook and tie in the silver tinsel. We will now wind the silver tinsel to the curvature of the hook and then backwards in direction of the eye of the hook. When we arrive at the eye of the hook, we will tie off the silver tinsel and cut off the excess of tinsel. Using the dubbing needle we will now split the tying thread and insert in the split tying thread a bunch of red seal's fur. Twist your bobbin to secure the seal's fur in the tying thread. With this dubbing strand, we will now wind the front pad of the Peter Ross. Now we will wind the ribbing to the eye of the hook and tie off the ribbing wire. Cut off the excess of wire and trim a little bit the tips of the seal's fur dubbing. We will then prepare a black hand feather like shown here, tie it in with a tip, then we will wind a hackle, a wet hackle with this hand feather for 3 or 4 turns, pulling back the feather tips after each turn and holding them fixed in your fingers. Pull back, hold them and wind. Okay, tie off the quill of the hand feather. And cut off the quill. With your fingers, now you will now pull down the feather tips from the upper side below the hook shank. Fix the feather tips in this position with several turns of tying thread. Okay, that is okay like that. And now using your scissors, just cut off the feather tips that remained above the hook shank. Okay, done. Now we will tie in the teal duck feather as the first wing. We just prepare the feather by pulling back all the fiber tips to the rear side and then cut out the tip of the feather. Bring the feather tips back to the front. And tie in the feather just in front of the underwing. Pull back the feather in such a way that the wing gets the correct length, which should be slightly longer than the hook, but shorter than the tail. Cut off the excess and then tie in 2 strands of crystal flash over the first wing. We fold them around the tying thread to secure them on top of the hook shank. Cut them to the correct length. And then we will tie in the squirrel hair as the last wing. This bunch of squirrel hair fibers should be a little bit longer than the first wings. Tie them in, cut off the excess, and start winding the head of the fly. Whip finish. Cut off the thread and add a drop of blackhead cement on the head to secure the windings.
You can download the detailed tying instructions for this fly and for all the previous ones on my website www.meckejang.lu. Leave a message in the guest book with your email address and I will send you a mail every time a new fly is published. See you and tight lines!